Shabbat Shalom, friends. This week, I want to talk to you about the pan. What am I doing here holding a frying pan? Well, you see, in this week's Torah portion, there's a very dramatic story. Korach rebelled against Moses, and he schlepped along with him hundreds of Jews who backed him up in rebelling against the leader that God chose for the Jewish people. And at a certain point, Moses challenged them that each one of them should bring their own offering in a brass pan, and let's see which one God will choose. And ultimately, we all know the end of the story. The ground opened up and consumed Korach and those rebellious ones who went against Moses and against God. But what happened with their pans? What happened with the hundreds of pans that they used for their sacrifice? The Torah tells us that God commanded Moses to take those pans and to melt them and to use that brass to cover the holy altar in the temple. And the obvious question is asked, why would we use the pans, the brass pans that represent the rebellion, and use that upon the altar? There's many beautiful insights, but I want to share with you one from the Rebbe. And here we see the depth and the wisdom of the Rebbe's approach to every human being. The Rebbe tells us, it is true that Korach and his men made a drastic mistake by rebelling against God. But you gotta say, although they backed the wrong horse, they really knew how to run. We need to always try to find the positive in every experience. There's something positive about Korach and his men, and that is that they had a desire and a drive to be better, to be holier, to be the high priest. Although it was misplaced, but at least they had that motivation. And the Rebbe tells us that God told Moses, take those pans and transition them, transform them, convert them to something sacred, because even though they had the wrong intentions, it came from a good place in the heart. At least they really wanted to grow and be a better person. And I think the lesson here is so self-understood. If you're dealing with a conflict with someone, if you're dealing with a child who's being rebellious, if you're dealing with yourself and your own negativity, always dig a little deeper and find the positivity embedded within that experience. Because every single time, even if it seems so bad and so negative, there's always something positive that's very deeply embedded within that story. So Shabbat Shalom, enjoy the pans, and remember, you have the ability to find the positive even in the darkest experiences. Shabbat Shalom.